What's going on, guys? My name is Petros and this is Leon Unity, the creative community for filmmakers, storytellers and visual artists. So, this is another Minute Tip Monday. We have just finished from the YouTube Pre-Pride Parade, which is held at YouTube Space London. It's a lot of fun, and one of the most important things we did today was we went around and we shot a whole bunch of B-roll of the party. And one of the most important things about B-roll is basically having a subject. So today we mostly used Sonia, who you can find as Sonia Double G on YouTube.
Double G.
Yeah, Double G.
You ready?
All right, so ready.
Ready, set, go.
Yeah, slight problem with that. Basically, when I was initially recording this, I didn't quite realize just how loud it was outside. Add into that the fact that the battery was failing on the microphone, and the next bit turned into something of a mess. So here is my attempt to redub that entire section. On with the show. So cinematic B-roll. There's a few things I like to include with B-roll because its main purpose is either for establishing a scene or transitioning between scenes. Like with anything in cinematography or storytelling, B-roll has to be about the story that you are telling. And so if it is a transition from one scene to the next, you want to be telling that story. Now there are a lot of similarities between cinematography and screenwriting. Two of them that I think are really important, especially when it comes to B-roll, is depth and movement. In screenwriting, you have depth of characters and movement of the plot. In cinematography, you want to create similar emotions by moving the camera. This creates an energy which creates emotion for the audience. You can do things like tracking a subject down the corridor or following them around, moving around them in a 360 or an orbit. If you follow a subject moving, everything is moving around them except the subject, who seems to stay focused in the frame, and that can create an emotion. And for depth, you've got to remember that your camera shoots in 2 dimensions, so to create depth, you need to have the 3rd dimension. So we're looking at having the subject close to the camera and a lot of depth behind them. This can create a shallow depth of field on almost any lens, and it can give us that truly cinematic look that we're looking for. To create depth, you can also use foreground objects. If you're moving past a foreground object or moving close next to a foreground object, it creates a lot of speed, therefore creating more movement and more emotion. If you have depth by having your camera close up to a wall and then panning out, that can create depth also. Now the reason these two are important in B-roll is because B-roll has to set an emotion for the upcoming scene. Which brings us to the next point. Transitions. Transitioning between scenes, you can use anything. You can cut behind an object, you can cut behind a pillar, a wall, whatever you want to do. And a good thing is to use the combination of all 3. Use movement, depth, and transition to create an emotional story using your B-roll. Lastly, shooting at a higher frame rate allows you to slow the footage down and get slow motion. Slow motion can be very dramatic for B-roll, and I find it very interesting because it creates this ethereal, very smooth style, which can be very good, especially when you're using the previous 3. My personal preference is 60 for people and 120 for fast-moving objects, such as when this guy is pouring the drink. And at the end of the day, with B-roll or any cinematography, what you want to be doing is creating emotion in your audience.
Depth and movement.
Depth and movement. That depth and movement are probably the 2 most important things, and transitions being the 3rd, basically. Transitions, so just going close to a place and just going close, so you cover the camera, and then you can transition and just cut to the next thing. A lot of your B-roll will always happen in the editing process.
Like, comment, subscribe, and if you don't have the bell, what are you waiting for? It will notify you of all future videos.
Yes, and on Thursday we have a video coming out which is about producing for YouTube, which is what exactly does a producer do? So, if you are into filmmaking, please go ahead and subscribe. Check out our previous series, My Life as a Video Game, or our upcoming film, Sisters of House Black. This is Sonia Double G.
Yep.
Go ahead and follow her, but subscribe to me first.